When I snap my fingers, everybody say short. I'm hot, and you're not. But if you want to hang with me, I'll give it one shot. Top that.
Oh my God.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Colin and Greg Live right here on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. We know we are about 6 minutes late today. We apologize about that. Some technical problems. Also, Greg's not here, so we have no idea what the fuck's going on with the show.
Sure. I just noticed I'm not Greg.
No, you're not Greg. You're
That's
Nick.
the craziest thing.
This is Nick Scarpino. You know Nick Scarpino from Kind of Funny, my fellow co-founder here. Nick's filling in, as you guys enjoyed a few weeks ago. He was on the episode, or a couple episodes rather. So
I'm back.
We called Nick. Called him out of the bullpen. Did one of these. We need the lefty.
Did this. I'm not a southpaw, but it's okay.
But we needed the lefty, and he came out of the bullpen for some reason anyway.
It's all right, because I'm dope.
So we appreciate your patience, and thank you for joining us. Let's see. So Colin and Greg Live, for the uninitiated, is our daily, every weekday nerdy talk show here on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames at 11 a.m. Pacific time. We talk about games, talk about movies, talk about TV shows, talk about comic books, talk about all sorts of shit. But Nick, we're going to start with some sad news, and I actually think that you can speak to this fairly well as a movie fan and a Star Trek fan and just a fan of acting and all of these kinds of things.
Yes.
Is that, well... Oh, no, that's Geraldo. I don't want that. Leonard Nimoy has died.
Unfortunately, has passed away.
Every once in a while you wake up and you find some really unfortunate shit happening.
You do. And you know what the
Twitter.
craziest thing about this is? I was looking at Paul Newman last night because I was watching The Hustler, which is on Netflix. Fucking amazing movie. Sorry. Are we allowed to say F?
Yeah.
F word?
Have you ever listened to me talk?
I'm just joking. And he died at 83 too, which is crazy. So like last night I literally was reading about someone who died at 83, wake up this morning, and unfortunately Leonard Nimoy has passed away.
So this is what the story says. This comes from The Hollywood Reporter. Of course, you can find this all over the internet, but this is by Mike Barnes, and Bryn Elise. It says, Leonard Nimoy, the logical Spock of Star Trek, dies at 83, and it reads, Leonard Nimoy, the Hollywood Renaissance man who fashioned a long and prosperous career as the supremely logical and cerebral science officer Mr. Spock from Star Trek has died. He was 83. The actor tweeted on January 14, 2014 that he had lung disease. Quote, I quit smoking 30 years ago, not soon enough. I have COPD. Grandpa says, quit now, end quote. As he always did, Nimoy signed off with the acronym LLAP, short for Live Long and Prosper, his Star Trek character's most celebrated phrase. Nimoy died Friday at 8:40 a.m. at his home in Bel Air. His grandchild Danny said on Twitter that the cause of death was end-stage chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Nimoy was a vagabond TV character actor when he made his debut as the somber Spock on NBC's Star Trek, which debuted on September 8, 1966. He went on to play or voice the half-Vulcan, half-human on live-action shows, cartoons, films, video games, etc., all the way through J.J. Abrams' movie sequel, Star Trek Into Darkness, marking an amazing span of 50 years. And he obviously did a bunch of other stuff. Just wanted to, first of all, give our very best to, the Nimoy family, friends' families that knew Leonard personally, and also really kind of distraught and heartbroken Trekkies around the world that are really pretty somber today.
I mean, and the sad thing about this is that, it's not like Leonard Nimoy wasn't active still. He was still appearing in the movies. He was in the relaunch of the Star Trek series, and he was awesome in it. And, not seeing him on the big screen as Spock anymore is heartbreaking. But... what are you gonna do? I mean, that's the thing. Quit now. Don't smoke anymore.
It is really sad. I mean, smoking is
same thing that killed Paul Newman at 83, lung cancer, and he said the same thing. He's like, I quit a long time ago, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, smoking is so weird in the sense that some people are just. They can smoke 2 packs a day and just not for 60 years. It just doesn't matter.
Never get anything.
And then some people, I was reading about that band, The Waitresses. I don't know if people out there know the band, The Waitresses, but they were a late 70s, early 80s new wave band. They sang Christmas Rapping, which is that really famous Christmas song that some people really like. Anyway, there was a female singer in there, and she died in her early 40s because she smoked.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Sometimes just weird. I don't know. It just affects different people in different ways. So I don't like telling people what to do. If you want to smoke cigarettes, they can smoke cigarettes, but this could happen to you.
Yes, this could happen. This is an eventuality.
So our very best goes out to to Leonard Nimoy's family, friends, and all the Trekkies out there that are torn up about this. And
I'm gonna give one out. I gotta do it. Live long and prosper.
Yeah, there you go. By the way, we got a tip from Uber Goat who says, "How much am I going to have to pay to watch the Colin live stream of the Mighty Ducks back to back to back?"
I mean, I'll do that for free.
Yeah, because it's a movie and there are rules, Nick. There are rules.
There are rules.
There could be a camera on me.
Yeah.
Watching the Mighty Ducks.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to put a camera on you, but we're going to put a camera on you shirtless working out, like that vision, that dream that I come into every morning, where you are just crushing it on your elliptical machine. And you look lately, I don't know if you've been challenging yourself a little bit more. You going uphill a little bit more, maybe?
Yeah, I tried to use the incline.
You look like the dude that lost to Khal Drogo in the first season of Game of Thrones. You know, the guy that's just like, I'm going to challenge Khal Drogo. And then Khal Drogo's like, dude, you're not going to challenge me. The only thing that can kill me is an infection.
That's a pretty... That is the only thing that can kill him.
It's true.
Nick.
Yes.
I'm already sick of this topic, but... I want to talk about it anyway.
How could you be sick of this? This is the debate of the ages.
I'm literally already sick of this, but we're going to talk about it anyway. The dress.
Screw the president. Okay. Forget about the Super Bowl. Don't worry about the Oscars. This is what we should all be talking about for the next year.
This is really fascinating to me. Now, this broke when we were breaking down everything after production yesterday. Right before I had people over.
Production.
I had people over for dinner, and we were all kind of talking like the kind of funny group and the people that were coming over for dinner because there was a little bit of crossover. And this had broke, and everyone was going crazy on the internet because it's like there's this dress, and the dress is, I guess, blue and black in reality.
Yes.
But a lot of people, including me, see it as white and gold, and there's just this huge raging debate on Twitter and Facebook and all over the internet about what is going on with this. And people want some side saying they're right and some side saying they're wrong. I don't want to rehash it in the sense that people have already heard about this ad hominem, or not ad hominem,
ad nauseum.
Ad nauseum. It's not an ad hominem. But I did want to go into
ad
this.
hominem is.
I did want ad hominem is an attack on a person instead of the thing that they're arguing about.
Got it.
But I wanted to talk about it at least because Wired put up a story about maybe why this is, like why people are seeing it different colors. So first of all, before we go into
that's the thing. Last night, we wrap our production day. And Greg comes up to me and he goes, "What color is this dress?" And I'm like, "Finally, he's coming to us and he's going to share this part of himself. He wants to dress up as a woman. It's totally fine." No, that's not what happened. He said this. He's like, "What color is this dress?" And I said, "Naturally, it is blue and black. It is a black dress with blue stripes or a blue dress with black stripes. No matter how you paint it, it's blue and black." And he goes, "Are you out of your effing mind? This dress is gold and white." And I thought he was screwing with me. For the longest time, I'm like, what is the joke here? Which I think everyone's first reaction is that same thing, like, where's the camera? Who's screwing with me? Why is this funny? What is this weird Alice in Wonderland hole that we just went down? And also, you were doing a bourbon tasting last night, so I just assumed everyone was drunk when I walked out of the room.
Of course.
And I was like, these guys are just screwing with me. I'm going to go to the gym, and I'm going to eat a little protein, and I'm going to work on my glutes. Okay? But no, this is a worldwide phenomenon right now.
It is, and so you see it as black and blue.
So it's a little. So first of all, this image that we're seeing right now is a little more color corrected than what I saw on the iPhone phone, and it depends on the screen too. So the far left, the image on the far left, with a crappy white balance, and white balance for those people the 1% of you guys out there that don't know, I will explain to you. Is what a camera has to do to basically make the sensor understand what white is, depending on the lighting conditions. So for instance, we are using a tungsten light, which is why everything has that nice warm glow, and we have the white balance. We're hoping this amazing Logitech piece of equipment that we have, white balance is the 3200, so that white looks like white. If it were white balanced to daylight, which is 6500, or any of that Kelvin spectrum, which is how you measure the temperature of light, we might look way oranger or way bluer, depending on this. This looks like it's improperly balanced, which is why you're getting a little bit of the highlights on the black, which is resonating gold. So on the far left, I see gold, and I see a light powder blue, maybe in the blue, but I don't see white.
Okay, so I'm opening so this is the original picture. I think you see this as. What do you see this?
That to me is blue and black, but at the
that
top,
is unbelievable.
At the top of it it's got a gold shimmer because the light's reflecting off of the shimmery fabric.
It's just so. This is the fascinating thing. So this is the original picture, as far as I understand, and this was posted on Tumblr. And I see this dress as clear as day, white and gold. Clear as day, white and gold. Like it's not. There's no question.
Stop. So to me, white is the background. The top of your web window is white.
This is white, but this.
So how does that look white to you?
So all right, so this is like this is a white because this looks more like ivory to me.
Okay.
And then
because that was my big question. Everyone's like, it's white, and I'm like, on a monochromatic spectrum, right? Monochromatic being there's no color. We're just talking luminance values, right? That thing is like 30 IRE lower than white. So it is clearly not a shade of white. It is a gray, if anything else.
Yeah, so it's like pearl, though. I mean, like it's like eggshell. You know what I mean? Like we're getting into like there's definitely gradients of white.
Right. There's no such thing
technically
as white.
than literally.
There is a pure white, but
so to me, this looks. But like when I stare at it.
Okay, so there's a couple people in the comments are a little lost. Last night, people showed me this image and said, "What color is this dress?" And this was going around Twitter, and I said, "Blue and black," and people literally see it as white and gold. So where I see blue, they see white. And where I see black, they see gold.
Yeah, I mean, I see it as white and gold. I mean, like, so, and here's the thing. This is what I'm saying, is that when I stare at it, because if I look at it and I'm like, someone's like, what color is your dress? I'm like, oh, it's white and gold. And then I really stare at it. The gold is indisputable. It's gold in my mind. The white is maybe like the lightest shade of gray.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I really have to stare. I mean, if someone was just like, what color is this? It looks like someone standing in a shadow.
Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
So this is actually a great page. Don't leave this page.
Okay.
What color is the girl's dress on the image next to this?
To the left here, where
Yes.
my mouse is. Yellow.
Yeah. Okay. So that's crazy to me that registers yellow, but this thing doesn't register. What color is her shirt? Well, that's shitty. That's a washed out image. I can't even tell you what color that is. Like
All right, so I'm gonna tell you this.
Okay.
The longer I look at this picture, the more I see gray, but I still see gold.
Okay.
But when we go back, I'm gonna press back on the browser here, and we'll go back to the original story because I wanted to talk a little bit because honestly, God, Nick, I'm tired of this fucking story
Yeah.
already.
I was tired of it last night. I was like, I gotta leave this. This is breaking my brain.
But what I was curious about was, and you were here when I kept saying, I'm like, why? Why is this so weird? You know, like it doesn't make any sense.
Why does it happen? Why does it happen?
And I'm always curious about the why.
But for point of clarification, the far right image is the color of the dress.
So this is the way it looks. Is supposed to look. And all right, so let's go into the story here real quick. Because on Wired, Adam Rogers writes the signs of why no one agrees on the color of this dress. Not since Monica Lewinsky was a White House intern. Had one blue dress been the source of so much consternation, and yes, it's blue. The fact that a single image could polarize the entire internet into two aggressive camps is, let's face it, just another Thursday. But for the past half day, people across social media have been arguing about whether a picture depicts a perfectly nice bodycon dress as blue with black lace fringe or white with gold lace fringe, and neither side will budge. This fight is about more than just social media. It's about a primal biology and the way human eyes and brains have evolved to see color in a sunlit world. Light enters the eye through the lens, different wavelengths corresponding to different colors. The light hits the retina in the back of the eye where pigments fire up neural connections to the visual cortex, the part of the brain that processes those signals into an image. Critically, though, that first burst of light is made on whatever wavelengths are illuminating the world, reflecting off whatever you're looking at. Without you having to worry about it, your brain figures out what color light is bouncing off the thing your eyes are looking at and essentially subtracts that light from the real color of the object. And Jay Knights, who's a neuroscientist, says, quote, our visual system is supposed to throw away information about the illuminant and extract information about the actual reflectance. But I've studied individual differences in color vision for 30 years, and this is one of the biggest individual differences I've seen. And he sees white and gold.
Really? So sorry, put that in layman's terms for me.
So what he's basically, I mean, that particular quote is basically saying, like, there are differences like this that happen.
Right.
That there are certain things that people see differently, but this is probably the most significant thing that he's ever seen.
Yeah.
And as a neuroscientist, knowing that this dress really is black and gold, he still sees it as white and gold, or black and blue.
He sees it as white and gold. So he can't even trick his brain into like it's to me it's like one of those things where you're like, I'm staring at this picture so long. Oh, there's the sailboat, right? Where you have to sort of trick your brain into like letting go a little bit so you can see the image. This is not like that. Like literally, you just let's see. Go back to that image.
This one here.
Yeah. No, see that's still I could still tell you that's blue and black.
But wait, is it both blue and black, or can you see the white and gold now?
Go back to that image. That image looks like powder blue and black with a bad. Well, it's hard for me.
Wait, so this doesn't. Wait, so all right. So this is black and blue.
Yeah.
That is white and gold.
That looks.
That is black and blue.
That is black and blue.
That is white and gold.
That looks like light blue and. Yeah. Okay, I can see gold. I know it's black now. It's hard though. I know. See, my brain tells me it's black, so it won't let it register as anything else.
So the interesting thing to me about this is that, and this is where I knew that I wasn't seeing, because I was like, no, that's white and gold, right?
Yeah.
Is that when you put it in Photoshop, it reads it as blue and black.
Yeah.
So it is blue and black.
Yeah, no.
But the question
Computers
is,
don't lie.
Yeah, the question is why? Like why? So I encourage people to go to. I don't want to belabor the point anymore, but I want people to go to Wired or go to any other source because a lot of people are writing about it,
right.
And kind of figure out like why this is, because they're talking here about like this is the fascinating paragraph of this to me. It says even Wired's own photo team driven briefly into existential spasms of despair by how many of them saw a white and gold dress eventually came around to the contextual color constancy explanation. So like even people that are photo experts, just like this neuroscientist who's been studying this phenomena,
right.
see it as it isn't.
See, and the thing is this, before we get off this point, because everyone in the comments is like, who gives a shit? Here's what's weird about this. I want to leave you with this parting thought. If we see these two images differently, what other color do we see differently? What is green to him versus green to me? Because how do you describe what green is? There's no way to do it other than showing it, and if he doesn't see it the same way I see it, we could all be... Basically what I'm saying is, if anyone that sees this as white and gold, you're probably an alien from Mars. That's the only explanation.
It could be.
That's the only thing I can think of.
I mean, because it is...
We're the real humans, and you guys are the ones that are just, you're trespassing on our territory.
Well, I was talking about that with someone yesterday at dinner where I was like, we describe something as, like, blue, right?
Right.
But the blue is the descriptor. So you can't... How do you describe, like you say the sky is blue, and everyone agrees.
You can't say round. Round, you understand. You can feel it's a tactile object.
But,
right?
like, it's funny that you can go down, it's like, that's blue, and they're like, oh, I agree. And they're like, the sky, I'm like, the sky's blue, and they're like, no, I agree, the sky's blue, but are we seeing blue
what is
the
blue
same
to
way?
you? Yeah,
exactly. And so, like, this brings up
your
the whole...
blue might be my green. My green might be your red. It's trippy.
It's very weird.
It's very trippy.
Very, very, very
Think about
weird.
that, guys. There's stuff in the world that we can't explain, even with Photoshop. There are even limitations to what Adobe can do. So that blows your mind. Have fun getting to work today.
All right, let's get into some gaming news.
Let's get into some damn gaming news.
I'm sick of talking about that. I'm sick of talking about that goddamn dress.
It's okay. We're done. I'm never talking about the dress anymore. I'm just gonna pan a little over.
So people have been waiting for Grand Theft Auto 5 on PC for a while now, and they're going to be waiting a little bit longer. Earlier this week on Colin and Greg Live, we talked about how GTA 5 has been delayed yet again for PC. But to help make things a little easier, Rockstar has released some new screenshots. Rob Crossley posted them over at...
that's gorgeous.
At GameSpot. And I wanted to just kind of show them. Click on the thumbnails so we can look at these in full screen.
This is obviously a PC screenshot.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. They released these as PC screenshots.
Gotcha.
So even though people have to wait a little bit longer for the PC version of the game, it looks like Rockstar's doing some pretty good work over there.
That's legitimately better looking than LA. They nailed the smog in that last picture.
Yeah, I mean, like, to me, I played GTA 5 only for about 5 or 10 hours, maybe closer to 10, on PS3, and obviously the game didn't look anything like this.
Did you play it the remastered up-res version that came out?
No, I haven't gone. If I go back to anything, I'll just go back.
It looks gorgeous.
So just a really, I just wanted to share these screens. I was looking at these this morning when we were preparing for the show.
Go back to that. I mean, this is what kills me. Like, how good? Don't look at him. Look at the car. And tell me that doesn't look
the light
near realistic.
The lighting looks awesome.
Yeah, it chips me out every once in a while. That happens to me all the time. I'll be like, when we were at IGN, I used to walk by and I would swear someone was watching like sports. And I'm like, oh, nope, that's just a game. That's where we're at right now. Pretty soon you're not going to have to go outside. They'll deliver your food to you via a tube that you just suck on. You're never going to have to move. It's going to be awesome.
So GTA 5 coming shortly to PC, not as quickly as some people would like, but it is coming nonetheless. And what's funny about this to me, Nick, is that when I saw GTA 5 before it came out, so this was maybe summer 2013 or whatever, maybe even earlier than maybe spring 2013. A lot of people were saying how pretty they thought the game was, and I was like, this game's not pretty at all. And it's funny how...
How did you not think that?
I just thought it was, I'm like, there are certainly prettier open world games than this. Because I think people were losing their mind on the particular visual aspect of this game, and I'm like, that's not what's impressive about Grand Theft Auto 5.
No, that's
the scope of the game is what's impressive about it. But now, maybe on PS4 and Xbox One and now on PC, the game maybe is more visually impressive than I gave it credit for, although it certainly wasn't on PS3.
It was on Xbox. I felt it was really... I mean, there's a fluidity to it on Xbox 360 where I played it that I just thought was stunning. You literally got lost. There was a moment... In all GTA games, because it's not just about the violence, not just about the missions that you go on in the story. There is an awesome sense of fun when you're just driving around LA, listening to music, right? Makes me feel like Ryan Gosling from the movie Drive, except I'm not tall, and I certainly don't have his abs.
No.
But I got him beat where it counts. I have it on good authority.
Oh, that's good.
Intellect.
Okay. I thought maybe you were talking about
use
something
your
else.
brain.
Yeah, I mean, for GTA, it was never about the way the game looks. I don't think the GTA games were ever the best looking games in their respective times or on their respective platforms. I just think that, it is about the experience. We got a couple more tips from some people I want to acknowledge. Peanut Boy tweets out, or messages us that says, hey guys, new Vita owner here. I picked up a Persona 4 Golden, Danganronpa, Uncharted, and Hotline Miami. What other games do you recommend? Thanks. Thank you guys for all that you do. Keep it up. Jason, I think the best way to talk about Vita games is Greg and I and some others have worked multiple times on a top 25 Vita games list at IGN when we were still there. So you can go read that list. But you have a pretty good lineup of games that are going to keep you busy right now. So I'm not sure you really need to buy anything else until you're done with those. And then Justin T. Mars also reaches out and says, Colin, after the show with Gary Wood, it seems there's hope you can be a Star Wars fan again. Any chance you guys go to Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim Convention Center, April 16th to 19th? Beyond. Palin 2016. He literally wrote that. Thank you for the tip, Justin. Unlikely we'll be at Star Wars Celebration, but Star Wars is, again, in my heart and in good graces. Nicholas, I saw this story today that I thought was...
calling me Nicholas.
I like calling you that every once in a while.
Well,
it's like when I call Greg Gregory sometimes.
Yeah, I like that.
I saw this story I wanted to share with people. It was by Jason Schreier, again, one of the great journalists in the industry, in my opinion. He writes, Sony accidentally loses list of PS4 contest winners. And his story reads, late last year in Japan, Sony held a pretty neat contest. People who bought a PS3, a PS4, a Vita, or a Vita TV between December 4 and January 15 could get a calendar with a special code that gave them a chance to snag one of those limited edition 20th anniversary PS4s. The ones that have been driving Sony fans wild for the past few months. We got one, and we unboxed it.
Did.
I think the
unboxing. You can see that on kindafunny.com.
Today, the company behind PlayStation announced that they've accidentally erased all of the information they collected from contestants and that none of it can be recovered. Whoops. Quote,
honor system?
Our deepest apologies for the trouble we have caused to those who entered the previous campaign, end quote, Sony wrote on their website as translated by Kotaku's Toshi Nakamura. Though Sony didn't say just how they mysteriously lost its database of contestants, they are giving Japanese PlayStation buyers the opportunity to re-enter by resending all of their information, from hardware serial number to home address, via forms on their website. Second time's a charm. So I just thought that was a really weird story.
That sucks.
I have no idea how that happened. But.
So you know what's funny is Sony gets a lot of shit for technological screw-ups, and this is not going to help. This is going to aid in that. But you know what? These are very complex things. Sometimes shit happens. Get over it. Sorry, it sucks. I know it's easy for me to say because I don't have a stake in this game.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it does suck. It would suck. It would suck if you were the winner, but I guess you would have never known. It always reminds me. There's this weird story. You know how you just have these weird memories of childhood that are just totally fucking like.
Most of mine revolve around Twinkies and regular
right.
And high fructose corn syrup.
I was in 5th grade, and I was watching WB. Or it might have been UPN or something like that, watching like after school cartoons, and they were giving away VHS copies of Rookie of the Year. Remember that? Yeah, exactly. And I called the number, and I got through.
No shit.
And then they were taking my address, and I accidentally hung up the phone. I don't know how. Like, I just like hung up the phone, and that always stuck with me. Like, it was just a VHS, but I was like, damn it!
I can only imagine how much that screwed with a young Colin Moriarty. Where like, you must have sat in a room with just all white walls for years to clear your brain of that one.
Yeah,
I did.
It's
okay. You know what? You didn't miss much. It's not a very good movie.
Ghost 6. I mean, I've seen it, but I mean, Ghost 6.
Spoilers, at the end, he loses his power and has to win the game the honest way.
Yeah, it was really...
By doing a trick fucking throw.
Yeah, he was like... It was basically like a Tim Wakefield knuckleball. Ghost 6 gives us a tip and writes, Nick, Colin, I have a Steam code for Dungeons of the Endless. I would like to give it to you so you can give it to people. All right, so guys, I'm going to read out a 15-digit code.
Do you want to just put it in the comments?
No, I'm too lazy to do that.
Here, I'll do it.
No, don't do it. I'm going to read it.
Are you just going to do it? I love when you do this. Go ahead.
And there's a reason why I do this, by the way. Because some people don't understand this. This is the reason why I don't tweet out codes or anything like that. Is that there are bots that will just take these codes and automatically redeem them. And you never know if they're lurking in your chat.
I gotcha.
So just so you guys know. So
it's a weird part thing.
So guys, prepare your pencils, papers. I don't care where the hell you put it. Right.
Stop what you're doing. Go get a pencil.
Dungeons of the Endless. This code will get it for you for free from Go 6. VQZ9Z 7H3XP FNE07. VQZ9Z 7H3XP FNE07. The only way a bot can steal that is if you can understand the English language spoken.
Have we gotten to that place yet?
Probably. This one I think is right up your alley. This next story here, Nick. This one has to do with the Blade Runner sequel.
I love this.
This comes from Deadline Hollywood's Patrick Hypes, and he says, Blade Runner sequel, Harrison Ford confirmed. Denis Villeneuve. Is that how you say it? Villeneuve?
Villeneuve.
Villeneuve.
Villeneuve is fine. Sure.
Villeneuve. Villeneuve?
I think it's Denis
Villeneuve. How do you say it?
I think it's Villeneuve.
Villeneuve. I would have... See, here's the thing about
Spanish.
Here's the thing about this name. Denise, though, isn't that French?
It's Dennis, I think.
So that's Dennis.
I think it's Dennis.
Because one N.
I'm gonna look. I got his IMDb page up right now.
Because one N I thought was Dennis, but the French Canadian way to say it.
Well, he looks very. Oh, he is Quebec. He's from Quebec.
Okay, so
you know what? Maybe you're right. Actually, I take that back. He is not Spanish. He's Quebec. So
Quebecois.
Quebecois. So it would be. You speak French. What would it be?
I took French for like 7 years and I could barely speak it. So we're going to call him Denis V. Is in negotiations to direct the sequel to Blade Runner, with Harrison Ford previously asked but now confirmed to be reprising his role as Rick Deckard. Ridley Scott, who directed the iconic 1982 sci-fi pick for Warner Brothers, is aboard to executive produce for Alcon.
Villeneuve.
I was right.
Yeah, you're right. I was totally wrong. I don't know why. You know what's my Southern California upbringing sometimes betrays me. I see that and I want it to be Villanueva, which is a very common Spanish last name that I've encountered a lot of times. But I am wrong because I don't understand anything that happens on the East Coast. I apologize to everyone about that.
No, it's okay. I mean, I thought it was crazy for me. I'm still crazy.
I do know that
I'm still
Quebec's
crazy
on the
for
East Coast.
literally a million other things.
Well,
no,
the Rookie of the Year story goes a long way.
The story continues. The film is scheduled to start principal photography in summer 2016. Hampton Fancher, who co-wrote the original with David Peoples, and Michael Green have written the original screenplay based on an idea by Fancher and Scott. The story takes place several decades after the conclusion of the 1982 film, which was based on Philip K. Dick novel Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep.
So good.
Alcon acquired most franchise rights to Blade Runner in 2011 from producer Bud Yorkin to produce prequels and sequels. Scott said in an MTV News interview over the winter that Ford was keen on the script, but didn't go as far as confirming the actor's return to the role of a retired cop in a futuristic Los Angeles. It was 2019. I can't believe it was 2019.
Yeah, I know.
There were faint rumors that Scott would direct, but now Alcon's Andrew Kosob and Broderick Johnson have tapped Villeneuve, who gained cred with Alcon helming its taut 2013 drama Prisoners, starring Jake Gyllenhaal, Hugh Jackman, blah, blah, blah. So, how do you feel about this? I mean, I'm excited about this.
Well, first of all, I'm excited that more Blade Runner is coming. I saw another quote somewhere that Harrison Ford actually confirmed the sequel by saying the script might have been the best thing he's ever written or ever read. So that gets me excited. Ridley Scott's still attached to it, obviously, I think to executive produce, which is cool. You can't do a Blade Runner or a lot of people argue an Alien film without Ridley Scott these days, which is a good thing. It's an interesting directing choice, because I don't know this guy's roster. The only film I'm really familiar with is Prisoners, and Prisoners, shot by Roger Deakins, was a really good, really messed up, really dark, really methodical film. It's a very slow burn. Jake Gyllenhaal plays this crazy cop that blinks a lot. He does this a lot. This is one of his mannerisms. And he's got this weird kind of like homey haircut, and he's a good choice, I think, is what I'm trying to get at. And here's why. Blade Runner was less about the science fiction. It was less about the special effects than it was about the world and the feeling you got when you watched Blade Runner. And I think this guy can nail the tone of the material. And that's really the most important thing. Plus, you got Harrison Ford, and I'm sure they'll get an all-star cast. And if the script's good, I'm in. Well, let's be honest. If the script's shit, I'm in. I'm going to go see the Blade Runner.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to see it, too.
I got to see it.
Man, Harrison Ford is getting old, and it's awesome that he's coming back. I mean, I worry about like the catastrophic injuries he suffered while filming Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, I was reading about the story over on I Watch Stuff, and they were talking about how he's still getting over that ankle injury. So, the guys. Here's the thing, Denis Villeneuve, don't have him do any stunts. Just have him sit there and act and stare at the camera and be sexy. That's all you need to do. And then have a badass theme by Vangelis. Is it Vangelis? Vangelis? Vangelis.
What?
Have a badass theme.
Oh, I don't.
The soundtrack. Are we moving on?
We can move on whenever you're.
No, I think it's good. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about that, just like I'm excited about the new Alien movie that's going to come up by Neil Blomkamp. Why not? Let's see where they all roll down.
Yeah, Alien's awesome. There's that whole franchise. I mean, they sometimes they do it more proud than other times, but it's rife for riffing.
You got to have the lows in order to really appreciate the highs there, Colin.
Kumail gave us a tip. He said, the usual Friday tip. Have a good weekend, guys. Just wanted to say, if anyone misses the stream, I put up notes plus the link to the video after every show on the Kinda Funny subreddit.
Thanks,
we
man.
appreciate that, and thank you for supporting us on the subreddit. And it's worth noting, since you brought up Kinda Funny subreddit, that we do have a NeoGAF community thread. If you're over there, you should go check that out. And we have a Facebook page that is run by the fans. We also have an official Facebook page, but we have a Facebook page run by the fans that is about 1,700 people strong, very positive people, like-minded people to a lot of you out there. So maybe go check that out and give them some support as well.
Strongbad1979 says, Nick wants to suck on a tube. I don't know what that means.
What the hell does that mean?
I think it's a reference to my earlier talk when I said I want all my food through a tube. The only problem with the tube is that you can't get pizza through it, and you can get Taco Bell though. I'm 99% sure you can smash Taco Bell through a tube. You wouldn't notice the difference.
I'm pretty sure you could.
Sorry. To continue.
So, Nick, I saw comments in the thread here just a couple minutes ago because we didn't talk about this on the top of the show. Where is Greg? We just never acknowledged that Greg was. We acknowledged that he was gone, but we just acted like we didn't give a fuck about why
Greg is in LA again. Mm-hmm. He's down there for doing another thing. Greg's all over the place. He's getting right now. Greg's getting a little. Let's be honest. He's getting a little too big for us. We're gonna have to kill him.
Yeah, we probably will.
We're gonna have to take him out. Because we can't have someone that big being on like doing second screen experiences for things and like hobnobbing with TV people. We're gonna have to just take him out, bro.
Yeah, well,
I'm sorry right now. Like between us and this, how many more?
What?
Roughly 6,000 people that are
watching? No, there's only 4,500. It's Friday. Friday's a light day for us.
Don't tell anyone this, but if Greg gets a little bigger, Colin and I are gonna have to disappear him. No, he's down in LA. He's doing some awesome stuff. I don't know if we're allowed to talk about it or not.
No.
But he's off. He's got the day off. He's down in LA for the weekend. He's going to come back. And we are going to hit the skids hard next week at GDC, streaming from the Patreon office from Monday to Wednesday. Then we leave for PAX. And I'm excited about PAX.
PAX going to be good.
Because my wife's like, you need to take a winter coat. And I'm like, what is that?
Oh, you are going to need a winter coat, my friend.
I don't know what a winter coat is.
You better figure it out.
How cold is it in Boston right now? What are we talking?
Oh my God, dude! I can't.
It's snowing, right? There's a shit ton of snow.
I mean, so I lived in Boston for 5 years, and I don't know what it is right this second, but I was in Boston when it was -10. I was in Boston when it was 0.
Oh, 0. That sounds.
Because
like
the wind chill is the real problem there.
Right.
But this is a very bad winter all over the country.
Yeah.
So you want to be prepared, I think, for us, but with the wind chill, 15, 20, 25 degree weather.
So I need to really kind of bring a beanie and bundle up.
You need to bring gloves and a hat. And
gloves too?
Yeah. If you're not, especially if you're not used to it, I lived there, so I lived in New York, so
right.
I grew up in New York, so we have bad winters. Especially if you're not used to it, you're gonna be in a lot of trouble.
Okay, well I'll bring my snow gear and I'll layer up. I'll talk to you offline about this.
People are saying it's 25 right now, t-shirt weather. That's true, man. People, it's all contextual. It's all relative, right?
What's like freezing in Fahrenheit? 30?
Isn't it 36 or something?
36,
like that? Or
yeah. So it's below freezing there.
Oh yeah. Okay. The wind chill is the real problem up there. But dude, like when I lived in Maine for a couple years as a kid, and it gets heinous up there.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah.
But like it's all relative because like it would be 20 or 30 degrees, and I'd be going to hockey practice, and like everyone's just wearing shorts. It's like it's just like what you're used to. You know what I mean? It's so weird.
I get so cold. I go up to Tahoe once a year, and I'm just like, it's too cold here.
All right, so let's rock with the next story here. Actually, I'll acknowledge Setsukin also gave us a tip, which we appreciate. He said, "Great job, guys. Have enjoyed the show for a few weeks now. I wanted to give my thanks. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
And we really very much appreciate
or
that."
Or ma'am. Probably, sir. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
probably,
but not necessarily.
Or like 99% guys, which we love, because we can. One day we're gonna form an awesome hockey team, about 4,000 people strong, and we're gonna take on the Rangers. Is that a hockey team?
That is a hockey team.
We're going to take on the Nets.
All right.
Is that a hockey team?
That's a basketball team in Brooklyn.
Well,
They'll play in the same building the Islanders.
They all use Nets.
The Washington Post. All right, so yesterday, Nick, net neutrality passed unexpectedly. Huge news.
Unexpectedly. Huge news. Big win for online content creators who want not to be gouged with bandwidth costs.
Yeah, it's big news for everyone that isn't Comcast or Time Warner Cable.
Right.
But there's some people that are upset about it. And some people that are upset about it include me and people in my own party, the Republicans. Brian Fung over at Washington Post says, there's already a conspiracy theory brewing over net neutrality. He writes, why won't they release the rules? It's been less than 24 hours since the Federal Communications Commission voted to approve strict new regulations on internet providers, but that's the leading question coming from its critics. Conservatives are demanding that the FCC release a full copy of the regulations that it's planning to impose on companies such as Comcast and Verizon, and taking the agency's silence as evidence of a cover-up. Readers of an FCC blog have suspiciously mused that these new regulations should have been published by now, in quotes. It's much the same over on Twitter. Let's stop this nonsense right here. It's a stretch to think the FCC is withholding anything. While it was certainly within FCC Chairman Tom Wheeler's power to release his draft proposal before it came to a vote, the regulations now must go through a formal process before they become official. And say what you will about bureaucratic inefficiency, and I say a lot about bureaucratic inefficiency.
We all say a lot about it.
But that's the chief reason the FCC won't be releasing the rules for some time. Not even internet providers who are generally frustrated by the content of the rules are all that outraged about the delay. They're going to see this document sooner or later, and they'll still likely sue to have them overturned.
Yeah.
Quote,
this is definitely not the last we heard.
Oh, no, definitely not. Quote, this is one more step in the swamp. There's much more of a slog to come, end quote, said one wireless industry official who spoke on the condition of anonymity to speak more freely. It's easy to see how all this secrecy could be confusing. Once a vote takes place and the gavel drops, shouldn't that be the moment where the world changes? After all, it's more or less how elections work, right? Well, rulemaking is a bit different. And this piece goes into a little bit more about just why the FCC must figure things out and kind of get their ducks in a row before they release it to everyone, because it needs to go through some formal edits and stuff like that. So I wanted to bring that up because I wanted to acknowledge, we talked about it yesterday, and I wanted to acknowledge for our viewers out there, Nick, that not everyone's on board with net neutrality.
Right.
I'm confused why not people wouldn't be on board with net neutrality, but I do understand.
I can understand their perspective.
Yeah.
I can understand the perspective, especially, I don't like that there is a huge monopoly when it comes to the cable, when it comes to internet providers and cable in this country, right? Mm-hmm. It's a monopoly. It is. Well, it's not necessarily technically a monopoly.
It might not technically be a monopoly, but they don't compete with each other intentionally.
No, they don't. And it's my understanding that this really basically makes broadband, or internet rather, basically a public utility, right? Similar to power, it comes under the regulation now of the federal government. Versus before it was more privatized. Is that correct?
Right. It'll be treated like a utility.
Right, like a utility. But I can see that. It's like if someone came to us and said, look, that table that you guys bought and you made, okay, and that you've been using for so long is now regulated by the federal government. You don't have any say as to what you can put on this table. We might get a little miffed. I understand that.
No, I understand. So the thing is I think some people are conflating and misunderstanding some things about this, in my opinion. A lot of people compare this to Obamacare. And the thing that happened with Obamacare is that they passed this huge bill, and a lot of the congressmen admitted that they didn't read it. And that to find out what's in the bill, we'll have to pass the bill. That was Nancy Pelosi's famous quote, right? And it ended up being a bit of a... It's fine, but it ended up being a bit of a disaster, too. This is different in that the FCC certainly read it. They're just not at liberty to show it yet. So it's only 300 pages. It's not like a huge bill. That's not a huge bill by Washington standards at all. And people have to understand that the FCC is not Congress. So they're not compelled, and they don't have to show anything. So until they're gonna have to show it obviously to inflict the rules later. But
they're gonna have to enforce the rules, thereby showing the rules at some point.
But I think I understand the argument that, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday. I understand the argument that this could open up a bureaucratic trapdoor, just like a lot of other things did. Income tax is a really good example of that. That was introduced at 1% and is now at 30+%.
Yeah.
Because once something's introduced, it's hard to take it away.
It never goes away.
That said, everyone's like, well, the FCC mired down the phone companies and all these things in like the 70s and 80s, and I'm like, what innovation was coming out of the phone industry? Like, I don't understand. I really don't understand some of these arguments.
Yeah.
Electricity, water, telephone, these aren't really innovative things. In fact, the innovation from the phone came from the tech industry and the internet and computer connected industry with smartphones. So I don't really understand that particular point of view. That said, that point of view exists, and I respect that it exists. The bigger question to me is, what are the unintended consequences, and are the people that seem worried about it now right? Only time will tell us that. But I think the internet is so important that it must be protected from companies like Comcast that will do. Because here's what would have happened if this didn't pass, right? This is what people don't understand. I mean, we know what would have happened.
I like when Colin shuts the laptop.
I'm shutting the laptop.
Good is coming. Something good's coming.
What would have happened is that Comcast would have been like, all right, we can make a slow lane and a fast lane now, so we can actually throttle you and make big companies that use lots of bandwidth pay more. And so one of the interesting pieces I read yesterday was like, so what happens if Netflix and Amazon are both approached by Comcast?
Which they have been.
Yeah, but they would have certainly been under this with a gun to their head, basically.
Yeah.
And been like, you're going to pay us more.
Well, they already do.
No, but there was negotiations that, and we don't know the nature of it.
We don't know the nature of them, but that has already happened, right? Where they said, hey, this service is so widely used that you have no choice.
But now with these rules passing, that is technically illegal.
Yes.
So, what would have happened had these passed, and we would have had literal fast and slow lanes? Is Comcast going, now you have to pay us X amount of money, and say Netflix does it and Amazon doesn't? Then Netflix's customers win and Amazon's customers lose.
Right.
Basically, but the internet's the internet, and it is utility. It's integral and essential. And I'm not ideological enough as a libertarian or a conservative to think that the government can't do any good to protect these people from these certain things. So I do think that
it's interesting because the conservative me says leave it alone. It's something that they don't own. If the government wants to own it, they need to go lay all those trillions and trillions of miles of lines that are connecting all of us together, or they need to put the satellites up themselves. These are things that they didn't start. And actually that's not true. There are some lines that the government actually did start back in the day at DARPA and that Comcast actually bought. But at the same time, I'm split on this. Because from one perspective, it obviously benefits us to have net neutrality in place. We run a business online. We do not want to get a metric shit ton of bandwidth costs. But at the same time, it is a free market economy, right? These guys own... I would be pissed if I were Comcast. The only reason why I'm not a little more outwardly spoken on their behalf is I don't like the fact that they I don't think they provide a huge service. In fact, most of the time, I think that they bully the people that use their services into paying higher costs. There's no reason why cable should be that much, and they're dying. That's the other problem, is that Comcast, all these big cable providers, all the major networks, they're dying. People like us, there's millions of us out there that are overcoming them slowly but surely, and they're gonna start to get really desperate as days go on. This hopefully will force them to innovate a little bit more, instead of just going, well, we're dying, so what do? Let's raise prices. Let's gouge our customers a little bit more. Now they're going to have to go back to the drawing room and go, well, we don't have that as an option anymore, so maybe we should actually come up with content that people want, or a business model or a channel structure that actually makes sense, that incorporates some of these online elements, because this is the way the future is going. Stop trying to fight against it. Stop trying to be radio in a television era.
Yeah, and I think, but that is the argument against it sometimes, and they say the FCC is antiquated. I agree and I disagree. I just think that, first of all, there's something full circle about it. The United States government and the military invented the internet. So,
yes.
So they didn't invent the World Wide Web. That was invented in Europe. But the United States government invented the internet. And it was first used by the government and the military, and Al Gore specifically invented it. And universities in the United States and stuff like that. So there's something full circle about saying, listen, there's something that we unintentionally kind of spawned into this big thing is actually kind of important for us to regulate.
Yeah.
Now, it's the same thing. It's the same way I feel, and I kind of put my libertarian leanings aside, where I'm like, some things make sense. Should the government protect parks and wildlife? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Should the government say, like, this meat processing plant isn't safe, or these medicines aren't safe? Mm-hmm. Sure, why not? I mean, there's just certain things where, like, my ideology...
They make sure the roads we drive on are safe, and they don't burst our tires and we burst into flames.
Exactly, because what's interesting to me is some people are like, well, this stymies capitalism and free market capitalism, and my argument is that Comcast and Time Warner and all these guys have already leveled the playing field for each other, where there is no competition anyway.
Yeah.
They literally do not compete with each other. There are literally no choices in most cities. You know what I mean? Like, there's a great video John Oliver put up of an interview with a guy at Time Warner, where he's like, you can't get, and he's saying it like without even realizing what he's saying, where he's like, you can't get Comcast in LA, but you can't get Time Warner in San Francisco.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't get, like, and it's like, why? Because you're all staying out of each other's way.
Yeah, because you're actually creating an unfair oligopoly, I guess is what someone mentioned to me, which actually, I guess is a better term for it. I like to think of it more as a monopoly, because at the end of the day, it is a handful of companies that have decided to set rates and not compete with each other. Now, I have no proof of that. I've never been in those discussions, but you're right. They stay out of each other's way because they understand that their stranglehold over the industry probably is diminishing very, very, very rapidly. And if they don't do something to cooperate with one another and bully their freaking clientele into just paying these higher prices, they're going to die. But guess what? They're going to die anyway, because eventually this is a huge shot fired. If this actually goes through, which it has, if this continues, YouTube wins, Amazon wins, Netflix wins. The cable companies that have been gouging us for years lose.
Yeah, and
a little bit. They're not going to die, but they lose a very, very important stranglehold that I feel, and a lot of people feel, especially if you're on the consumer side, is incredibly unfair to have.
Yeah, I agree. I understand the law of unintended consequences. That shit happens, and people are upset about it. But, you know, here's the thing: because some people are like, well, now they're going to tax the internet. No, they're not. That's impossible. Why? Because Congress passed the law in the late '90s saying that you cannot tax internet access. You know, so like, there's just certain things you have to know.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so no, this isn't going to open up new. It doesn't make any, like what some people are saying. This doesn't make sense. You know, but there are some arguments that do make sense, and so you know, we'll see what happens. But I think this is a step in the right direction. Sometimes government can do good things.
Yeah.
Whether or not this ultimately is a good thing, I don't know.
Well,
All
look,
I know is that it's good. They're basically saying the internet's serious, and just like you must have electricity, you must have water. Frankly, you must have unfettered access to the internet.
You have to. And here's the deal. We all complain about the government when the inevitable thing goes wrong, because our system is not a finite system. It is a fluid, constantly moving system, right? This is going to have unintended consequences. It might not be good, but for right now, we can all agree it's a step in the right direction. Mm-hmm. Much like we wished they would have regulated the banks a little bit more carefully back in the early, in the mid-aughts. Is that what you say?
Yeah, that's what you said.
During the financial loan crisis, we can all look back and say, God, we wish this would have happened. But you know what? Now's the time to do something about it, and they're doing something about it, which is great. 10 years from now, we might be like, damn it, why did we pass net neutrality? It totally screwed us over, and now we're paying $30 every time I want to check, Twitch to see my favorite morning show, Colin and Greg Live, 11 a.m. every day on Twitch. You can find us on the front page. Dope.
And some people are saying that the U.S. didn't invent the internet. The U.S. absolutely invented the internet. ARPANET was a U.S. invention.
It was ARPA. Yeah, and
that was the first.
DARPA was something else.
That was the first connected. I think they called it like PAC network or something like that.
Yeah.
The World Wide Web was invented in Europe.
Yeah.
At CERN, I think, actually. And so there is a difference. But the American military made ARPANET, and that was the first internet.
And they made ARPANET as a network from base to base, right? A base controlled network that was underground that could not be taken down, where they could communicate if someone took the phone lines down.
Presumably,
right?
yeah. A lot of this is in what the fuck's the book called? Fire in the Valley, which is like almost a textbook about the history of the internet and the history of computers.
I should read that one day.
Anyway, let's move on. Some other news to get to, of course.
Always. The world keeps turning.
Where do I want to go from here? Actually, I want to talk about House of Cards. Now, I want to be.
Oh, it's today. Shit.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's already up. Some people have already gotten through it.
How did you get through it? I guess
it's up at midnight.
That's up at midnight. Yes, that.
So I like this. Little Drew 828 says, "I thought Nick invented the internet."
I did.
That's a really good.
I did when I was young, when I was 10, and I was eating nothing but Del Taco, and I was going back and forth between Taco Bell and Taco. I was like, I wish there was an easier way to communicate between these two, so I could just stay in the middle and have them come to me. Boom, the internet was formed.
Headphone Fiend says DARPA is funding the Boston Dynamics robots that will kill us all. I don't know if you saw that episode of Colin and Greg Live where we showed off the robots that they're building in Boston.
They're terrifying.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're terrifying. One day, and this is the funny thing about all this. This is why we choose on Kind of Funny to focus a little bit more on the positive than the negative, because we're all headed toward the future that is in Terminator 1. Skynet is going to be real. These robots are going to come kill most of us. 90% of this audience right now, the 4,500, I can't do math, but 90% of you guys are dead.
We're at 5,200 now.
So just enjoy it while you can, guys. Log on. Watch your favorite internet shows while you can, because eventually Arnold Schwarzenegger is coming to kill you. It's going to come in your head.
So, real quick, I want to say that I don't think this is spoilers. I have not watched House of Cards Season 3. Nick has not watched it.
I have not watched it.
I just saw a story on Kotaku that I thought was interesting.
Spoiler hat, maybe?
Go away for 2 minutes if you think that the game... And I want to just say this. Don't go away yet. This is what I'm going to talk about with House of Cards. What games are played on House of Cards? Because we'll remember...
It was big Call of Duty in the first two seasons,
right? It was Killzone. We'll remember that in the first season, it was PlayStation Vita. In the second season, he played Killzone.
Oh, he played Killzone?
Yeah.
That was Call of Duty.
So if you are worried about the games that he plays in this
shameless product placement in it, and I say shameless like we're not shills. We are shills too.
So I'm going to go to this now. House of Cards Season 3 trades Killzone for indie games.
Indie games? Well, he's the president now, so he can't be killing things.
And so basically all I wanted to say is that I thought this was an interesting story in the sense that Season 3 of wonderfully addictive House of Cards launched on Netflix today, and in it, the devious Frank Underwood reveals his true colors as an indie gamer.
Oh, yeah.
No big spoilers for the new season here, unless you really don't want to know what games Frank's into these days.
He's already achieved his goal, right? So he doesn't need to be violent anymore. Now he can just relax, enjoy the Oval Office, and play... What is it?
So he plays... So it says President Underwood has put down Killzone in favor of the Stanley Parable of all things.
What's the Stanley Parable?
So let's see if we can bring it up here.
Okay.
Can you type in the Stanley Parable?
With Greg's ridiculous Stanley's Parable.
So we'll bring it up for you here. So the Stanley Parable is this game here. Is an exploration of story games and choice. People really love this game.
Wow, how much did they pay to get... Oh, it's Steam?
Well, it's on Steam.
Who paid to get this involved in it?
So he's playing this, and then he's playing... Did I actually... Where is it? There it is. And then he says he also plays Monument Valley, which was a really popular game, I think on phone, actually. Or on tablet. Mm-hmm. So I just thought that was funny, like, because it's actually it started with Vita, and then it went to Killzone.
I can't wait to watch this weekend. You just made my day. I totally forgot House of Cards this weekend. My wife's a little sick too. We're just gonna frickin' hunker in, man. Hunker in. Bunker in? Hunker in.
Hunker in. So I mean, that's what I'm gonna do is Cheryl and I are going out to a late boozy lunch today.
Love it.
And then we're gonna come back and start cruising through House of Cards, which I'm really excited about myself.
Tell you that, yeah. Thank God those throttling charges aren't in because
All right, let's cruise through the rest of the news here, Nick.
Cool.
There's just a few more pieces of news I want to go through. Over at GameSpot, Daniel Starkey wrote a piece that said top digital PlayStation games generate twice the revenue of Xbox games. Sales data from January shows that PlayStation versions of top 10 best-selling digital games are nearly twice as popular as their Xbox counterparts, 63% to 37%.
Interesting.
The story reads, Sony's PlayStation 4 had a strong start in 2015 and impressive sales numbers overall. But while the Xbox One picked up during the tail end of 2014, data from research company Super Data Research, that's a literal name,
dope name,
shows that the PS4 is still coming out on top in terms of digital game sales. Looking at digital sales for the top 10 best-selling games of January listed below, we'll get to that in a minute, the PS4 and PS3 accounted for 43% and 20% respectively of total purchases. By comparison, Microsoft's Xbox 360 and Xbox One consoles totaled just 37% altogether. It's worth pointing out again that this data doesn't take into account all digital sales data, only the top 10 games. Okay. Data for PC, Nintendo consoles, and mobile was not included in this study.
This is just digital-only games.
Right, and according to the Super Data, the top 10 digital games for January 2015 were Grand Theft Auto 5, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, Destiny, Dying Light, Battlefield 4, Resident Evil HD Remastered, Minecraft, Call of Duty Ghosts, Madden NFL 15, and Call of Duty Black Ops 2. So 3 Call of Duty games on there. But that they all sell significantly better digitally on PS4 than they do on Xbox One and PS3 than Xbox 360. Now, I don't know how people out there feel about this, Nick, and I don't know how you feel about this, but this doesn't surprise me.
Why is that?
It surprises me.
That surprises me a little bit.
It surprises me in the sense that Microsoft pioneered the console network. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Sony had their own thing with PS2 and stuff like that. And obviously, Dreamcast was doing its thing a long time ago. I mean, you could have had a modem on your Super Nintendo, actually. What the hell was that modem called? X-Band. But they kind of squandered that a little bit, I think. And Sony has done a nicer job of maturing PlayStation Network, I think, to a point where people will buy digital games. I also think that the digital storefront on PSN just has more games in it. That said, this doesn't take anything into account but the top 10 games here.
Right.
The install base on PS4 is way bigger than Xbox One, so that also doesn't surprise me. So I don't have much more insight into that.
But also it could be that this generation is the generation for digital downloading. Like, I mean, I guess you get copies of the game still. We get copies. We're fortunate enough to get copies of games sent to us, but I think when I bought Dying Light, I downloaded it.
Yep, that's the big change from. I mean, we've been.
I don't want to go to the store, man. I don't want to go to Best Buy and have somebody like, "Do you want to hear about this toaster?" I'm like, I don't care about toasters, man. I don't eat carbs.
We've been in this industry a long time, where like we've been getting games from publishers for years, and what I've observed is that you always got digital download codes for digital games. Mm-hmm. So if you got like Journey or something, like, you can't have a retail copy of that game. But you're right. Dying Light is a game that 2 years ago we would have gotten box copies of that we've now gotten digitally. For it. Yeah, and I think it's great.
I think it's awesome. I mean, and that first of all, someone asked what I was drinking. Casey, right? I'm drinking a venti iced black tea unsweetened with 1 Splenda and a little half and half. Thanks for looking out. It sucks because I like brick and mortar, right? I like going in and I love perusing. I like going into game shops, I like going to bookstores, and I like going to movie stores. And none of those exist really anymore, for all intents and purposes. So you just gotta kind of get with the time, and it is incredibly convenient to be able to download a game right there. And what a fantastic way to make money. You don't even have the person doesn't even have to make the decision to get in his car, put his shoes on, or put his shoes on first, then get in his car, and go out there and buy that. I mean, it got me. I'm kind of lazy, so I'm like, shit, I'll just download this game.
No, it's fantastic. It is very convenient. You have to wait sometimes. I like the day and date. I like that you can preload, which is pretty cool, and then things unlock.
That's smart. That's super cool. Yeah, it is surprising to me though, because for the longest time, Microsoft had it. They were doing it right. And for the all intents and purposes, Sony was screwing up. But I guess the PS4, they've done such a great job launching the PS4 and changing that perspective and bringing people back into the fold that, I mean, I think it's empowering people to want to use those services and evangelize them, which is good.
I agree. I think the 3 problems that come from digital downloads are limited storage space. Some of these games are huge, which is a problem, like 50, 60, 70 gigs.
Sure.
That brings up the point of some infrastructure problems with internet, especially if you're not on the coast in the United States or at a major city. Some places in Europe and around the world do not have internet access good enough to do this because they'll get throttled or they'll get charged more like you do with your phone, for instance, if you use too much data. So that's a problem. And I think the biggest problem is, and this is just my opinion, Nick, I don't know, how you feel about this. Greg and I have talked about this in the past, is that Sony and Microsoft cannot yet kill GameStop. They can if they want to, but they really don't want to go down that road yet, like by offering, say, 20% discounts on digital games.
Right.
If they were to, because then they'll ruin their partnerships with them, the people that push out games and hardware for them. But they can do it. Like if Sony was like, the Order 1886 is $45 on PSN, or you can buy it $60 in the store.
And some people will,
that's the beginning of the end for the store.
A couple of people did know, yes, my timing is off. It actually probably is less time to get in your car, go to the store, buy a Blu-ray, and come back, because it does take a long time to download these games. I did misspeak on that. What I meant was you put it in the background, you download, you go to work, you come home, it's ready for you. It saves you the trip to the store. It's going to eventually be the preferred method of getting your content across the board.
Majesty DTX says, pause the game, guys, I have to poop. Just take your laptop with you. Let's go talk about some tips. Here, Holodrone gave us a tip. He says, love the show. Colin and Nick is especially good. 2 sparring intellectuals. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate the kind words. Pegnyap tipped us, said, "Happy Friday, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Colin, Eagle Rare 10-year or 4 Roses single barrel for sipping purposes?" I like Eagle Rare 10-year, although the age statement's going away, so if you see those age statements on the Eagle Rare, you might want to pick one up.
Get it.
Because it's unclear whether or not that's going to go away and they're going to become younger bourbons. That said, 4 Roses is growing on me. I wasn't a big fan of it, but I have a couple bottles in my collection now. But I also have 8 bottles of Eagle Rare in my house right now. So, Hodsonator says, "Keep calm and have a drink on me." Thank you. I appreciate that. Jedi B tips $3.11, which I appreciate. Says, "To the pride of Long Island, I hope you like the Mega Man Colin I made for you. To the producer/seducer, it's good to see you, bud. Both of you are awesome. Keep up the great work and have a safe weekend."
Thanks, Jedi B.
Thank you very much for that. A Sleeping Monkey says, hashtag monkey for mod 2015. I don't even know how to make mods, but that's up to Greg, I guess. But we appreciate the tip.
Yeah, well, I'm just surprised that we got this working today. Sorry again that we were late.
Cogmeister says, "I had Comcast and their customer service is shit. They don't give a fuck about their customers."
Okay.
Absolutely agreed. Have had nothing but bad experiences with Comcast. This is one of the major pieces of confusion where it's like, why net neutrality hurts these companies, and they've done nothing but hurt us. You know, they've done nothing but disrespect our time and our money. They never show up when they say they're going to show up. Their service is never as good as they say it's going to be. So, I agree with you.
Any company that you have to threaten to quit to stop using their service in order to get a reasonable price on, not a good business model, not a sustainable business model, I should say. Someone said they like my light gold shirt.
Oh, that's very funny.
Yeah.
This is going to be a joke for years now.
It's forever.
And we got a tip from Axiom Verge. He says, "Why do people think Axiom Verge innately has less value than a AAA game? And that it should be $15 because some other indie games are $15. Is this 2009? What is this mentality?" I agree. I think that you have to explore the full realm of pricing. I think you can even go higher with downloadable games. I think a downloadable game could be $30 or $40. And I think a retail game could be $50, $40, $30. We have to explore that middle ground. And I think that's going to make games are cheaper than ever, of course, but I think games are going to become cheaper, and you're going to see a middle ground grow again.
Does that sort of just start to be too much, though, at a certain point? Like, you know, if you got a game that's a 3 or 4 or 5 hour experience and should probably be sold for less, where does that stop? Like, how do you do that? For so long, I mean, I think the general consumer is like, I get it, it's $60. It sets a level playing ground for everyone. There's such an expectation and something to work toward. Would that stratification of those price points start to just erode everything we know about how games come out?
Yeah, I think so, in the sense that I think that once I read about this in the sense that, for instance, with retail games, $40 is looked at as budget pricing. It used to be $30 in the PS2 and GameCube era,
right,
and even earlier. And even if you have a good game, publishers are afraid of the stigma of going lower than $60.
Yeah, because your game's valued less.
Exactly.
Sure.
Like so I think that it's a conundrum because the publisher is saying, even if we don't believe the game's worth $60, if we don't charge $60 for it, then people don't think it's worth anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's a major optics problem in gaming that must be overcome, and the indies are helping us overcome it.
Yeah.
Because games can be, like Eric Castro, who we do Follow the Leader with, came over and showed me Gunman Clive on 3DS yesterday, which I loved. That game's $2 on 3DS. You know what I mean? Like, so like you can just explore. Not everything has to be $50 or $60 or $20 or $15. What's an $8 game look like? What's a $25 game look like?
Yeah,
I think we're going to see those things.
And that's the thing. It's a rough analog to that is exactly what we're talking about between like mainstream content producers and us, right? Like we are doing it for cheaper and a little less production value potentially, but a different kind of impact, and that's just going to be the way it is across the board. Mm-hmm. Not saying that those AAA titles are ever going to go away. Nor do we want them to ever go away. I love those experiences, but at the same time, be open to all verticals. You know, be open to all options,
and understand that the notion of value is subjective. We talked about this a little bit with the order. Length is not.
Clearly, all of our audience understands that because they're watching us.
Well, yeah, Jesus Christ, that's a good point. All right, let's cruise through the rest of the news.
Okay.
Just a few brief things to get through real quick, Nick. There were some rumors going around that Life is Strange's episode 2 was going to be delayed, but they tweeted out saying that the rumors of the delay are not true, and it's still on track to release before the end of March. So if you see that story, understand that that's not true. I wanted to talk about this real quick because I've been looking forward to this game for a long time. La Mulana EX is coming to Vita. I played this game a long time ago. It's a really cool side-scroller, a really tough game. Finally coming to Vita next week, so keep an eye out for that. And Resident Evil Revelations 2, or Biohazard Revelations 2 if you're Japanese, they released an update on Steam, Capcom did, for local split-screen co-op. Basically what happened here, Nick, is they promised, in some respect, local co-op, which was then removed. And they say, "Dear Resident Evil fans, we apologize to our Resident Evil Revelations 2 PC players who purchased the game and expected to have local co-op as a feature. The feature wasn't intended for this version, and that caveat was mistakenly omitted from the product description on the Steam page earlier, and then included as soon as we were made aware. This was an unintentional error, and again, we apologize for the confusion this may have caused. We are currently looking into the matter and potential solutions, and we hope to have new information to share very soon, so please stay tuned. Thank you for your patience and understanding. So that's that. And the final piece of news that I want to discuss with you is this Apple this piece from the Telegraph about the Apple Watch. And it says Apple Watch will. This story is by Alistair Heath, by the way. And it says Apple Watch will replace your car keys, says Tim Cook. Exclusive interview. The Apple chief executive reveals to Alistair Heath how the revolutionary features in the company's smartwatch could forever alter our daily lives. Now, I don't want to go too deep into this story at all, other than to ask you a simple question. And I saw this today because I wanted to ask you this.
Okay.
Do you think this thing is going to do anything?
Conventional logic says yes. I mean, everything Apple puts out that seemingly is something I don't need, I eventually end up relying on 100%. Having said that, I'm a big watch fan. I don't have an inclination to go buy a digital watch just because I do love the sort of I like the lineage and I like what mechanical watches stand for. I like that sort of analog feel to my watches. But I think I am in a very, very, very small minority. I think a lot of people are going to go out and buy this because A, they love Apple. They just like owning Apple products because that's what Apple does. It makes you like to own their products. And B, it's probably got a lot of hidden value that let's be honest, Apple is founded on the fact that it gives us stuff that we didn't even know we needed. And now we rely 100% on it. Does it make me a little scared to wear my keys on my wrist? That's something that can be very easily broken or smashed or stolen. That's a little weird, but I'm sure we'll get used to it.
Yeah, I think I disagree in the sense that I think that this watch is not going to be a hit, and that I'm sure people are going to buy it. I'm sure it'll do fine, but I think its major Achilles heel is that it still requires to be tethered to your iPhone. That it does not have the processing power to do anything that it needs to do by itself.
Gen 1, that is a problem. I guarantee they'll fix that by a year or two. And Apple's great at this. They introduce this product that's cool and it's fun to deal with. They get everyone hooked on it. They get a huge market share with it. And let's face it, like if Apple's going to make a watch, it's going to be better than the Samsung watch. It's going to be better than all the watches that are out there. And then they start to iterate from there. And 2-3 years from now, this thing's probably going to replace your phone to some degree, on some level.
Yeah, once the processing power is on board, then the unit changes. But I still think that Apple is due for something that doesn't make sense, that doesn't work. And this isn't I wonder what Steve Jobs would have done with this. Because this has been incubating for a long time. And I wonder if this actually ever would have come out. Because you're right that Apple is the master of giving you things that you don't know you need. They did this with the fucking PC. Nonetheless, they were the ones that pioneered putting a computer into your home. They didn't make the first personal computer. They were in development at Xerox and other places for a long time, but they were the ones that mass produced it. When Wozniak wanted to give away the Apple One and how to make it, Steve Jobs was the one to say, like, what are you doing? Like, we can sell this and make lots of money. And so they did it again with they revitalized it with iMac, and then they had obviously the iPad, and the iPhone, and the iPod. But they had hit and misses too, right? They had Pippin, which was like the
gaming console.
The gaming console. They had the Newton, which was their PDA, that was like a bomb. So like they did have bombs, and I do think that this is something that might be a little ahead of its time, or maybe unnecessary, because you do have your phone in your pocket. Is it really that big of a deal to have the phone in your pocket?
You know what's funny is it's not. And what's funny is for the longest time I didn't wear a watch, and recently I've gotten into watches this is the past couple years. Wearing a watch with a date function on it is incredibly useful. And it sounds silly, but think about how many times how many instances every day you check the time, right? Just be aware of that for the next 3 hours of your life. Having that information readily available on your wrist will become very, very addictive, I think. Now, again, I am a late adapter of everything, and I'm always a very big naysayer. I'm like, screw that, I don't need it. Don't try to sell me a watch at like $7,000. I don't need that shit, okay? But then 2 years later, I'll eventually end up buying it anyway and pretending like I adopted it early. And that's my thing.
Yeah, I was there from the beginning, man.
That first iPhone was awesome.
Winter Chill 03 says, Walter Isaacson, who did the biography on Jobs, visited my school last year. The biography is such an interesting read. I absolutely agree. Isaacson's Jobs biography is a must-read.
I haven't read it yet. I got to borrow that from you.
Isaacson basically... Jobs gave access to Isaacson when he knew he was dying. So he was ready to talk.
Yeah. Well, they had talked... He had interviewed him quite a few times before that, right?
Yeah, but he was
chronicled his career for a while.
They were familiar with each other, and they were talking for a long time. And when the hammer was going to drop on him, when he knew that it was game over for him, I think he really started to
open the doors.
Yeah, and it's Steve Jobs is a conflicting and interesting character. He's not the greatest man that ever walked the planet in terms of maybe his personality or the way he treated people, but one of the great visionaries of all time. And I really feel that I used to be one of these people. A few people said like Apple sucks and all this kind of stuff. No, they really don't. And that's the big thing. Like I used to talk shit about Apple too before I started using Apple products.
Yeah,
and
I did too. I was like a diehard PC guy, and then I got a MacBook Pro from IGN when we worked there, and I was like, oh. I had a MacBook and I like my Apple, using my Origin now, and I like having a Windows PC. And this is better than any MacBook, but in terms of specs, and in terms of usability, I think. But my iPad and my iPhone are like appendages. Like my iPhone is just so essential, and I didn't realize how good iPhone was until I had it. I didn't realize how good iPad was until I had it. I didn't realize how good MacBooks were until I used one. So we're gonna get lambasted. Everyone's gonna. I don't guarantee everyone's gonna be like, "Hey, you guys gotta go smart." The Android phones are way better. They're to each his own. To each his own. All I'm saying is this: I used to bash Apple products, then I started using them, and I get why people like them. They're beautiful to hold in the hand. There's something amazing you can have in your house. From a design aesthetic, they're great, and they work, right? And again, we obviously love PCs, so don't bash us. Or this Origin PC is fantastic. We've been streaming on the Millennium for God, how long? 3 months now almost, and not one problem. It's been amazing as a workhorse machine, and I should note that also for my main editing system, I have a powerhouse of the PC at home as well. So when you need that horsepower, you can't really beat PC for the price. Having said that, though, I know we're running really behind today.
We started late too. So.
We started late, so we should go a little later. But yeah, I want to read that Jobs biography for one reason and one reason only. We tend to make deities out of our celebrities, right? These people that either they are captains of industry or they are, superstars of whatever industry they're in. But you have to realize these are human beings. And that's why I think Jobs is such a fascinating person, is because he was unabashed about how much of an asshole he was. But you still had to love and appreciate and respect the guy for what he did for the world. So that is a read that I've been meaning to do.
Oh man, there's so many good books.
I'm sort of like inching my way through 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea right now. It's a hard read. It's a lot harder than I thought it would be. So once I get done, maybe I'll check out the Isaacson.
Yeah, you ought to. I mean, there's so many. I mean, I can recommend book after book after book about Microsoft and Apple and the computer industry. I'm just fascinated by the history of Silicon Valley. But the reason Apple worked is because they had a technical genius in Wozniak and a visionary in Jobs, and you needed both of them for everything to work. Because Jobs could code. A lot of people don't know that Jobs coded Breakout on Atari 2600. Really? So like there was he had technical knowledge, but he didn't have Wozniak's knowledge.
That was a strong suit.
But he had the vision. Yeah. And you need vision, man. So
you need vision, and he had the balls too.
And I think what
was that second company he did right before Apple?
Oh, Next.
Next? Yeah, and that thing failed. But he didn't give a shit.
I think Apple bought it or something. I don't know. And then he came back in the late 90s.
I think they bought it when they brought him back.
The Nooster Dude gave us a tip and he says, "I love you guys. Nick is doing a great job. Please don't hurt Greg."
We're not going to hurt Greg, mostly because Greg has the strength of 10 bears. So I'm not going to come at him from the front. I'm going to come at him like a real man from behind.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Good. So let's go into the comments to talk to our people for a few minutes. Remember, you can talk to us in the comments. We'll talk about things, whatever you want to talk about for a few minutes. Then we'll go to sub-only chat. And then, by the way, if moderators, Devin, I think you're out there. When I say, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing with this, can you just put it in a sub-only chat when I say to put it in sub-only chat? I would very much appreciate that. Thank you very much. Without Greg, this show just falls apart.
It really is. From a technical standpoint, which is really scary, because Greg is technically uninclined when it comes to a lot of things.
That's true, but he understands this. Let's see. Someone asked if the GDC shows are going to be, this is Skidla Boy 74. Are your GDC shows going to be archived next week? So to catch everyone up, Colin and Greg Live on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday will be filmed from Patreon headquarters, which is near Moscone Center, where GDC is going on in San Francisco. We will be going for 6 hours. 6 hours every day.
Yeah.
From 11 to 5.
Let's set an expectation here. It's not going to be a polished 6 hours, but it will be a fun 6 hours.
Yeah, it will be the normal kind of funny 6 hours that were, kind of funny kind of stuff. The brilliance of this particular, this trio, this trilogy of Colin and Greg Live, is that we are going to be joined by a bunch of developers showing off a bunch of games and just being there to talk. So we're going to have big guys there. We're going to have like Cliffy B there. Mm-hmm. Sid Meier's stopping by to hang out with us.
Love that.
A legend, right? We're going to have all sorts of guys. The guys from Indie Creates are coming by. The guys that made Mega Man 9 and 10 are working on Mighty Number 9. We have we were working on getting, I think, Axiom Verge on the show. I think that's finalized. We're gonna have Housemarque on the show, the guys that did Super Stardust and Resogun and a bunch of other games. They're gonna show us some new stuff. We have a bunch of really cool stuff going on from both big developers and small developers. Like Call of Duty is gonna be on, and so there's like a bunch of cool stuff going on.
I'm very excited about this. And amongst that, we are going to be doing actually all of our shows live as well. And when I say live, we're still going to tape them, but those are still going to go up on YouTube on the respective channels. We're going to do Game of Reggae Show and Gamescast. But we're going to leave the camera on, and we're going to set up with the camera on, and you guys can actually see the utter calamity that is us trying to set up for these shows. Thankfully, we have Kevin now. Kevin brings a little bit of order to our neuroses, but it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be a really fun week. You guys are gonna have to bear with us because I guarantee that's gonna stay at 0 probably all week.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be a fun ride.
It's absolutely, yeah. I mean, I'm excited about this, man, because I GDC is like my favorite show of all the shows we go to.
Really?
Yeah. And I think that I'm trying to just find where I talk about. No, I guess I didn't do it. GDC is my favorite show because I think that I love talking to developers and I love the art of learning about games. And I don't think that people give GDC enough credit in the sense that, yeah, there's no game announcements and it's not a lot of hands-on time and stuff like that. But this is where game developers go to meet each other and talk to each other and learn.
Yep.
And as I've said before, the panels I've gone to at GDC are unlike anything I've ever been to before. Yeah. I mean, I talk about that one that I went to for Resistance where they talk literally the entire time for an hour about how they placed enemies on maps. And like why they're there.
Moriarty thing
but it's fascinating because like you listen to these guys and they're like, this is the logic.
Yeah.
When this enemy dies and you kill this many, 40% of the enemies, the drop ship comes in to drop enemies here to make you move this way.
Right.
So that enemies then come in this way. It's like, it's brilliant. You know, and I'm like, Jesus, we don't talk about games like this. You know?
Yeah, but that's the thing. It is an industry show, and that's why it's been hard. So a lot of people who haven't heard of GDC, you might have heard of it a little bit, but it's not a mainstream show. It's not as big of an imprint on the industry as E3. It is just a cool developer conference. I mean, and it's really fun because you'll be walking around the show floor and it's like a mini E3, but without the chaos and without the need to cover everything. You can kind of just network and have fun and meet people, and that's what we're going to be doing next week. And you guys can get a little insight on that with us. And I'm excited about it because I'm excited to meet up with the Patreon guys again, and I think they're going to buy us lunch.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Oh yeah, it's gonna be great. I mean, Steve Gaynor's gonna be there. Guy did Gone Home. We're gonna have Drinkbox there. Our boys at Drinkbox that did Guacamelee and Mutant Blobs Attack. They're working on Severed right now on PS Vita.
I think we're getting the Sledgehammer guys, right?
Yeah, some guys from Sledgehammer are gonna be on Call of Duty. I'm so excited about to see Housemarque and Indie Creates. I'm working on something really special to try to get someone on there. It's not confirmed yet, so I don't want to talk about it. James Vanderbeek. But just big and small, little games, big developers, small developers.
Come have fun with us next week. It's gonna be great. Leave us on all day. At some point, I can't guarantee this. Pretty sure Tim will take his shirt off.
I hope so.
Or if you don't want to see that, I can guarantee he won't take his shirt off. We'll take a poll later. We should answer some comments.
Yeah,
we're getting blown up on the comments. Colin, have you started Persona 4 Gold yet?
No, there's no time for it right now.
No time for it right now. Watch the Superfast trailer. Is the Superfast trailer, is that the spoof for Fast and Furious?
I have no idea.
Or is that a game? I don't know. There's a spoof of Fast and Furious that people tweeted at me. It was hilarious. Colin, did you watch World 1-1 Doc right?
I didn't only watch World War One. I'm in it.
Oh, that's right. Good point. What did that comment say?
Yeah, so as they said, Colin, you did watch World War One Doc, right? As they said on there, Steve Wozniak actually wrote Breakout. Steve Jobs tried to take credit and then admitted. Yeah, they do talk about that. I was surprised that you saw that and didn't realize that I'm in it for like a long time, and I'm also the narrator of that documentary. But nonetheless, we appreciate you.
You're the Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, I'm Morgan Freeman. But nonetheless, we appreciate that. That you watched that documentary. They did a really nice job with it. Also, Immortal Sandwich gave us a tip and he said, "You guys are awesome. Your plans for GDC are brilliant. I'll be watching the whole time and getting my friends on board as well." We appreciate that. We appreciate your support. Let's do 2 more questions from the audience and then go to... actually, we're going to do 2 more questions. I'm going to give Devin time to go into sub-only chat after that. And at that time, we're going to give away our prize.
Are we doing a giveaway? Sounds good.
So the Morden Freeman says, when will Mass Effect Remastered happen? I think this year they'll announce it. I don't know if it'll come out this year. You might want to plan it more towards when Mass Effect 4 actually comes out. But I think that you have to bet that those 3 games will come to next gen.
100%.
And finally, Cloverleaf Bane says, Nick, Taco Bell fried crunch berries. Comment?
I don't know what that means, but it sounds awesome. Tweet that at me. If there's a picture of that or that's a menu item, tweet it at me right now. Nick_Scarpino on Twitter.
All right, so if one of our mods out there can go into sub-only chat at this particular time, I'm going to do our giveaway. Now remember, to be in our, all you have to do is be here. I think our subs are automatically entered, and then if you're in the chat, you have a chance to win this particular prize, as we do every week.
Ooh.
This week, it's Homeworld.
Homeworld.
Homeworld Remastered. PC, you can't really see it in the camera because of the light, the glaring light, and the box is very white. But basically, this comes with a copy of the game and a bunch of extra goodies. And we hope you enjoyed whoever wins. The way we're going to do this, usually Greg uses some sort of program to figure out the winner. But I'm going to shout out now to Kevin and Tim. Kevin and Tim, yes. Can one of you pick a winner using Greg's technique for the prize this week, please?
I don't know if I know how to do that.
They do. I told Kevin that... Kevin?
Kev.
What is it?
MC Fixer.
MC Fixer. You've won, MC Fixer.
You've won this glorious white box.
This glorious box.
Nothing in it.
So Greg will get in touch with you early next week, and we'll actually, maybe I'll even get in touch with you today. And we'll because I have to get your address. I'm not sure. I don't want to assume that I know the way Greg does this stuff.
No,
you know?
I know. But here's the more pertinent question. We're going to get your address. We're going to send it to you. It's going to be amazing. What color is this box? Is it white and blue or gold and black?
This is white as nothing.
Okay, it's Snow White. It's Snow White.
It's really beautiful. So I hope you guys enjoy it. We'll, of course, begin the giveaway next week anew.
Tim, make a note of that. Tattoo it on your butt.
So many congratulations and thank you for staying with us and we will of course be giving away. We have so much stuff to give away to you still over the weeks and months to come because we are just inundated with things that we cannot fit into this apartment anymore.
Humming Tiger says, "Wait, what color is the box?" It is white and I would guess a royal blue.
Yeah, like electric blue maybe. Yeah, maybe more royal blue. Yeah.
I don't know. You're right. Electric blue. White and blue. God damn it.
So let's say, Stealth Sneak says, Colin, do you think Sony is delaying their PS Plus announcements due to the fact that Microsoft came out of nowhere with a AAA title, Rayman Legends? No, I don't think so. These things are planned really quite far ahead of time, actually, because there's like payments that developers must get to put their game on PlayStation Plus, like lump sums. So I think they're just not talking about it yet because they just believe the messaging doesn't fit for them yet.
Right.
Plus, the games will not go free until Tuesday anyway, so it doesn't really matter that they announce. But they have been announcing it early. I suspect we'll hear it from it today. If not, maybe this weekend. If not, certainly on Monday. Brack014 says, Nick is the king of the one-liners on Colin and Greg Live. Quote, I don't care about toasters. I don't eat carbs. Now, quote, tattoo that on your butt, end quote.
Okay, there you go. Here's the thing. I've seen a couple comments that said Nick is annoying.
Oh, what?
That is the price you pay. That is the risk you run when you want to be with the Kind of Funny crew, right? We sometimes rub people the wrong way. Okay?
I rub
you got to rub
people
the wrong way sometimes to figure out the right way to rub people.
Yeah, how do you know the right way?
How do you know the right way? It's like when you're petting a dog and you're like, oh, the dog doesn't like to be pet that way. I'll pet it the other way.
That's a fantastic point.
Thank you.
That's a really fantastic
Also,
point.
I trimmed my beard today and it looks really good on camera.
You look very handsome.
I'm getting like weird bald spots everywhere though on this camera because it doesn't resolve very well. It doesn't have a lot of resolution.
Yeah, I mean, Nick, that's the thing. I mean, I always say, like, there are people out there that absolutely hate me. There are people that hate Greg. I mean, it is what it is.
Melchior 750.
Melchior, I think.
Melchior says, I will tip Colin $10,000, $10K, if Colin beats Nick's back.
What does that mean?
It means use a depilatory cream or spray to take the hair off my back.
Oh, Veet. I remember that.
You know this.
I remember that.
I think it's spelled V-E-E-T. I could be wrong. So, Colin, you in?
We're gonna have to draw up a contract because I'm not, who knows if he's gonna actually come through.
Well, first of all, here's the deal. It's kind of a win-win for me because I do need to have that happen. My wife's gonna do it this weekend before PAX.
Really?
Yeah, because I wanted to be like, for GDC, I want to be like aerodynamic. So when I meet Sid Meier, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, a little quicker, 10% quicker.
This kid's quick, even though he's like 40.
Killer Dank 559 says, "I love you, Nick," and I'm not saying that second part of the. Here.
Stop being self-conscious.
Here. This is I want you to see it, but I don't want to.
What's it say? What am I there? I'll have your butt babies.
Yeah.
That's fine. Cool.
I feel like that's
when I get to that point, I will hit you up.
I don't like that term. That term makes me uncomfortable.
Butt babies?
Butt babies.
Well, it's not a real thing.
No, it's not a real thing.
You just take it at face value and you move on.
It just makes me uncomfortable.
Nick spoiled House of Cards. I did not spoil. I guess maybe I did spoil House of Cards a little bit.
How did you spoil it?
Oh, that's because I said where he's currently at in his position.
Oh yeah, that's a good. I mean,
sorry about that, guys. If I spoiled it for you, if you're halfway through
obvious
season
2,
where
the show is going.
It's going toward a certain direction. I apologize if I spoiled it for anyone.
LPD717 says, Nick, your favorite Taco Bell $5 meal box.
familiar with a $5 meal. See, I get the same 3 things every time I go to Taco Bell. I get the combination burrito, I get a Nacho Supreme. Sometimes if I'm crazy, I get the Nacho Bel Grande because I like saying it. And I also like to get the Double Decker Taco. Now, occasionally I'll throw a 4th item in there, which is usually the enchilada, or just a regular bean burrito. I used to love the grilled stuffed burrito before they went all double XL on that shit. I don't need a burrito the size of my arm. I'd prefer 4 burritos the size, like that make up my arm, like the smaller size burritos, because I like to slow play that shit. Slow play it.
KP 2.0 says, Colin, suggestion, put up a guest appearance schedule for Colin and Greg Live. We are going to. We are just waiting to lock in a few final people that we are still in flux with. So
we'll get it up. Maybe we'll get it up on the website.
Dylan247 says, Colin, favorite place to go when you visit Boston? Here's the thing. I have not spent any time in Boston since I left Northeastern. So I lived there from 2002 to 2007, and then in July 2007 I left, and I've only been back twice. Once overnight to visit someone in 2007, like a few months later, and then once it's not quite that way, and then once 2010 or 2011 I flew into Boston to go to a wedding in Maine. So once we settled in our hotel, I really like my time in Boston. I don't think I realized how much I liked Boston until I wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
I'm making a beeline to Northeastern. I want to go back to my stomping grounds.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited to get to. I've never been to Boston.
It'll be fun, and we should all go to Northeastern together. The fun thing about going to Northeastern for me is that I'm going to go buy like $500 worth of merch. Because I never had money when I was there, so I had like my ratty sweatshirt and like my t-shirt and stuff like that. Yeah. But now I'm going to buy I have a hockey jersey. I'm going to buy the new hockey jersey. I want to buy a sweatshirt. I want to buy a t-shirt and all sorts of shit over there.
I want to buy a hockey jersey. I've always wanted to wear a hockey jersey because it looks so comfortable.
The hockey sweater is very comfortable.
It looks comfortable.
Let's do 3 more questions, Nick, and then skedaddle.
Someone was asking if we had any technical problems today.
The technical problem was that we were 7 minutes late.
Yeah. So it's going to remain at 0 for the moment.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Jaredactyl92 says, developer you're most excited to speak with at GDC. For me, I'm excited to speak to all of these people, so I don't really,
It's fun. I'm excited especially because it really just is about having them on, seeing their stuff, hanging out with them, and making friends. And that's what we're all about here. Making some more best friends. Absolutely. And eating free lunch. Don't discount the free lunch. It's huge.
I won't count this as a question, but Stableman77 says, kind of funny now rolling in money, LOL, because of my $500 comment. Not really. We still have our fake brick walls.
Yeah, these are not real.
In my spare bedroom. And we're doing the best we can.
Yeah.
But we do appreciate your support very much.
We did hire Kevin.
So now we even have less money?
Yeah, so now we have less money. But the good news is now we're starting to get things up on time and having less technical problems. So it's a slow burn, but we're getting there, guys.
Someone asked, where is it? I just saw, here it is. Paul136A says, hey Colin, should we still expect a Vita release for Tetris Ultimate? I heard it was canceled, but no reliable sources. Until you hear something official from Ubi, I would not assume it's canceled. In fact, a month or 2 ago, they confirmed that they were still working on it. However, I am not excited about Tetris Ultimate on a Vita at all. Ubisoft and Soma Play botched Tetris Ultimate on PS4. It doesn't work, and it didn't work. I haven't tried it in about 2 weeks. It came out in November, I think, and the game, if you have too many friends, still doesn't work. Still doesn't work. So why don't you maybe not worry about the Vita version, maybe patch the PS4 version of the game and fix it before you release. I'm infuriated by that situation because I was really looking forward to that game, and I know that's not a problem that affects everyone, but it affects some of us out there, and you should make your game cleaner. Like, you should know that these things are not going to work if you're constantly pinging the server for 2,000 different people on your friends list. Maybe your games are going to run at 2 frames a second, which is what happens. And Tetris at 2 frames a second, Nick, can't play it.
It's unplayable. It's unplayable because it goes like this, and then you lose. That's what it does. I gotta look something up real quick because someone asked a question about forums, and I don't want to get this. I don't want to get Scott's name wrong.
Arrogance PSN says, Colin, would you say you have an average or heavy duty blender? If you're talking about blenders, as in things you blend drinks in, I have a heavy duty blender.
You have a heavy duty blender
because I have a Vitamix, and it cost me like $500. But I bought it for my girlfriend. That was weird because my girl, like, it was funny. I was making Eric Castro laugh about this because I was like, my last 2 Christmas presents for my girlfriend, I always buy her like a bunch of little things and then something big. But she asks for, and I feel bad about this because she asked for like domestic products, and I feel like out of context, it looks like I'm buying her these things to make me things.
Oh yeah, no.
So she's like,
I buy your wife a better laundry machine. You're like, here you go.
Yeah, it's like
wash my undies better.
But like, so last year I bought her a Vitamix because she wanted to start making smoothies, which is the green drink I used to drink, but I don't drink anymore because I'm too lazy. And so I bought her a Vitamix, which costs like an arm and a leg. She loves it. But then this last year, I bought her a KitchenAid mixer, which are really expensive because she likes baking.
Yeah.
And she's like, I want to mix. But I feel bad. I'm like, if you look at these two, if you ask my girlfriend, no context, like, what are the last two things you bought for your girlfriend for like major presents for Christmas? I'm like, oh, I bought her a blender and a mixer.
You're like, I bought her that, and I took all her shoes away so she could just be barefoot in the kitchen cooking me food.
So I feel bad about that.
She can't run away.
I gotta bring her on a. Yeah, she kind of stopped asking for these things. If she wanted something else, she could ask for.
Someone asked, and I apologize. The handle's gone now, but how are the forums coming along? They're coming along. I've been going back and forth with a very nice man named Scott K. I'm not going to say your last name. I don't know if you want your last name out there. He's one of the best friends that's out there, and he has spent countless hours trying to put in layman's terms what is breaking my brain as far as forums go. I think I've got a good solution for it. Now it's just about the time I need to sit down and do it. I'm going to try to do some of it next week. We're at GDC, but I'm guessing I'm probably not going to have time between now and the week after. So they're coming along. We're trying to figure it out. We definitely want to make that for everyone because I think it'd be super fun. Yeah, there you go. Devin CM knows him. So, yeah, big shout out. Thanks so much for that, guys. Keep the patience going. We're going to get it done.
My friend Kevin that I went to Northeastern with watches this show sometimes. He's an electrical engineer, and he sits at work and toils away at his work and watches the show, and he just texted me. And he said, I'll give you a deal for an NU jersey when you go if you don't mind. They only have extra large on the internet. Kevin, you got it, my friend.
You got it. You want to get in the small, though. We're going to make it tiny for you.
And let's see. Let's do one more question.
Okay.
One more question. Parky Park says, any plans for Kind of Funny Games Hit of the Week for subs? I'd love to play with my fellow subscribers. For people that didn't listen to Podcast Beyond out there for the 381 episodes we did it, Greg and I would do a segment called Hit of the Week, which was elevating someone's PSN name to the rest of the audience so that they can get some friends if they want to play a certain game, if they're looking, just looking for some friends to populate their list, to chat with, or just, be friendly with. So no plans to do that now, but I'll run that by Greg because that is a nice idea, and that was a really nice way to build the community and build a kind of a semblance of friendship amongst the people that were listening to it that otherwise didn't necessarily exist.
Awesome.
So we'll look into that. Nick?
Colin?
That's it for Colin and Greg Live.
That's it. This has been fun, man. I always love being on this
Live,
show. It's a cool show.
Yeah, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Because Greg's too good to be here with us today.
Gotta be in LA, getting that sun on his pale white skin.
He needs it. God, he needs it.
It's like a vampire.
So for all of you out there, we really do appreciate you joining us today. I think we maxed out at like 52 or 5,300 viewers, which is great for a Friday. So we very much appreciate that. Of course, you can find all of our content at kindoffunny.com. That will redirect you to YouTube and Patreon and all the places you need to go because I know that's a confusing rigmarole. And I said it right, rigmarole. Yeah. It's not rigmarole.
It's not rigmarole. I think
but I like
said
it that way
wrong.
better. No.
Rigmarole. I think I started the poor pronunciation of this word. It's rigmarole. But rigmarole sounds so much more douchey and so much more ass.
I don't know. I like the improper pronunciation of it, and so we will continue to
let's make it a thing to the point where they feel obligated to add it into the dictionary.
Yeah, let's do that. That's a great idea.
Cool.
So you can follow us on Twitter collectively at Kind of Funny Vids, and also find us on Instagram and Facebook. Remember, as I said at the top of the show, we have a fan-run Facebook group if you prefer that, a NeoGAF community thread if you're on NeoGAF. Go check those guys out. We have a subreddit that is dedicated to Kind of Funny, so you should check out all those things at the places you are most comfortable. But of course, yeah, Kind of Funny Vids on Twitter. I am No Taxation. Nick is Nick_Scarpino. Nick_Scarpino. And we very much appreciate your time this week. We hope you have a great weekend. Go play some games, relax with family, hang out, and be well. We will see you on Monday, live from Patreon headquarters for a 6-hour episode of Colin and Greg Live. 6 hours. 6 long, long hours. Until that time comes, have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.
I'm king, and they know it. When I snap my fingers, everybody say short. I'm hot, and you're not. But if you want to hang with me, I'll give it one shot. Top that.
Oh my God.
We are the Moonanites, and our culture is advanced beyond all that you can possibly comprehend with 100% of your brain.
Oh, is that so? And what's so advanced about it?
Well, for one thing, the moon has 1/3 less gravity than your Earth. I don't know if you can understand that, but our vertical leap is beyond all measurement.
You have to understand that I'm Geraldo. I'm not anyone to trifle with.